Hi everyone, and welcome to a special Super Deluxe Edition Record Store Day preview for 2021. We're going to do a few previews this week, and roughly speaking we're going to split the previews into 1960s, 1970s, then 1980s, and then 1990s and beyond. So we're going to do 3 days of previews. Now this is for the drop day 1, which is this coming Saturday the 12th of June. We may or may not do another set of previews for the July drop day because there's 2 drop days this year. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but we've got quite a good selection of products to show you. One proviso is I'm not quite sure of global availability. I think most of these products are available everywhere, but you'll have to check to see if your area, your local stores are going to stock these specific products. But anyway, without any further ado, we're going to go through and have a look at the 60s and the 70s offerings, and hopefully this will give you a bit of help in terms of understanding what exactly you want or need for Saturday and whether you're going to queue up or try your luck online later on in the day. So we're going to start with Donny Hathaway live. Now this is a live album that was issued in 1972 originally. And side 1 was recorded in LA, in Hollywood, at the Troubadour. And side 2 was in New York, in a place called The Bitter End in Greenwich Village. So it's sort of half and half, really. So this is being issued as a limited edition of 8,500 of these. It's a gatefold vinyl. This is just black vinyl. There's quite a lot of black vinyl actually. I thought there'd be more coloured vinyl, but polyline sleeve, original Atco label. Yeah, there's some quite good covers on this album. There's Jealous Guy, obviously John Lennon, What's Going On, You've Got a Friend, so that looks quite good. Donny Hathaway. Next up is Joni Mitchell. Now, the Archives box set, when it came out, the 5 CD Archive box set, there were vinyl releases at the time, but they were specific to certain performances. So there was a 3 LP Canterbury House, and there was also a CFQC AM vinyl. But what this is the first time on vinyl for some of the actual proper sort of demos and things from the box sets. This is a 12-track selection. You do get 1 track from Canterbury House, you get 1 track from that radio station performance. But other than that, it's a pretty good selection of highlights from the box set. So this is the sort of debut vinyl. I really like the cover to this album. Really nice design work. Again, this is black vinyl. This is limited to 15,000 copies, which sounds like quite a lot to me, but so I reckon this is going to be on a lot of people's lists. Nice touch actually having the inside of the sleeve designed properly. Next up we have The Doors, Morrison Hotel. Now this is Rhino do this, it's quite a regular thing now, but they take the alternates or the demos or the early versions from a CD box set and they turn it into a vinyl release for Record Store Day. They've been doing that a lot with Fleetwood Mac, for instance. So this is a double LP set, various sessions across the 4 sides of vinyl, which are all on the Super Deluxe Edition CD box set. Quite nicely done this. You get the get this poster in there. There's the sticker. Presented on 180 gram black vinyl, limited to 16,000. Again, these sound like fairly big quantities to me, so I wouldn't be panicking too much. Nice gatefold sleeve, very easy to get the records in and out, which isn't always the case. Polyline sleeves again. So that's The Doors and Morrison Hotel Sessions. Now this is a big one. This is a Grateful Dead 6 LP vinyl box set. I like the design on this. It's their Olympia Theatre gig in Paris, France from 1972. Early in 72, it's the entire gig across 6 LPs. Pretty hefty box set this. The There is an etching on this on side 12, so the music doesn't quite stretch over 12 sides of vinyl. This is limited to 10,000. With Grateful Dead, 10,000 might go quicker than you think actually. But there's the sticker on the front. Grab your passport and say bonjour to Grateful Dead. This is the first time anyway it's been on vinyl. It's nicely presented as you might think, so lift off lid. A little bit of sheet here giving the background to the performance and who played what and why it's so important. And then you just get 6 vinyl records presented printed in a sleeve. They're all black vinyl. I won't get every record out, they all kind of look more or less like that. I will show you the etched disc at the end. Record 2. This is going to cost quite a lot of money, I imagine, 6 LPs. And then the final record at the end. This has the etching on it. So that's the final, side 11. You can see the etching there. It's a nod to the French thing, liberté, égalité, fraternité. Not bad. Not a massive fan of etched discs, but I think one etching is more forgivable on such a big, large vinyl box set. Normally you think, well, why haven't you just put a bit more music on there? But this is a gig, and you can't just invent extra music from a gig, so it's a bit more forgivable, I guess. There is some nice spot varnishing on this as well. Look, there you go. So if you thought it didn't say anything on the front, you can see that it's not printed in ink, it's printed in spot varnish, and on the bottom actually, so that's really nice. Look at that. You've got to hand it to the Grateful Dead. I know they've put out a hell of a lot of product, but it's always done so well. Okay, this is a good one. Chrysalis, Live and Kicking Suzi Quattro. Now, this is a 1978 gig, which was it was released primarily in Japan. It did come out in Australia as well, but they're the only 2 territories that it came out. So, first time on vinyl in the UK and lots of other places. It's a gatefold. You can see here actually, and this is the first coloured vinyl pressing that we've come across so far. Nice poly-lined inner sleeve, and it's on white vinyl. This gig has been newly mixed as well from the multi-track tapes. And this audio, there's going to be a CD box set. Chrysalis are putting out a Suzi Quattro CD box set a bit later on this year. So this double coloured vinyl version of Live and Kicking is the first preview of the sort of cleaned up, newly mixed audio. There's the, if you want to see what the sticker looks like, there you go. Now then, Steely Dan. Let's talk about Steely Dan. I know this isn't a 1970s album, but they are 1970s artists really, aren't they? So I thought we'd just include this. This was their comeback album from 2000, Two Against Nature. First record for 20 years since Gaucho in 1980. And because it was released in 2000, it was never released on vinyl because no one gave a shit about vinyl in the year 2000, or no one wanted to buy any new vinyl. So the record companies want you to think anyway. But so yes, this is the first time on vinyl. That's the big calling card. 180 gram vinyl. It's been cut by Chris Bellman and mastered by Bernie Grumman. And it's a double album on black vinyl. And there's having said what I was saying before about etchings, there's 3 sides of audio, and there's an etching on side 4, which you'll see in a second. It's this design here. So no messing around with coloured vinyl, black vinyl, polyline sleeves. Here's the etching. That's the etching, you can see it there. Look. There you go, you can see it quite well there. So this is limited to 10,000 units. It'll be interesting to see if they give it a full release afterwards. Quite often the pattern for Record Store Day is coloured vinyl on Record Store Day, black vinyl thereafter. So they're not giving themselves scope to do that, but it may just get a full release later on, I don't know. If it does, you're kind of thinking, well, what will the difference be? I'm not sure they can do anything that different. But this won a Grammy, Album of the Year, so it's quite a big deal. Especially, I mean, in America, it was Don't remember that much happening in Britain when this came out. But there's another, they're doing 2 Steely Dan albums for Record Store Day. So the other one is the follow-up to Two Against Nature, Everything Must Go. So having waited 20 years for a Steely Dan album, they came back 3 years later with Everything Must Go. I mean, Walter Becker and Donald Fagen had worked together in the intervening period, notably on the Rosie Baylor album. This is only one record, so don't have to mess around with etchings. Black vinyl, polyline sleeve, and that's Everything Must Go. So this is quite interesting. UFO, 2 tracks from their 1979 Strangers in the Night live album. However, these are the tracks that were recorded and then crowd noises were dubbed over the top to make it sound like they were live, but they weren't actually live. They were studio recordings. So what the record company have done, Chrysalis, is they've newly mixed the tracks and taken away the crowd dubbing, so they just sound like studio recordings now. The 2 tracks in question are Mother Mary and This Kids. This is quite cool because it's a 10-inch and it's on clear vinyl, which looks really nice. It's quite nice to get something flashy after all this black vinyl we've been looking at. Very cool. So that's UFO. And the final record in our 70s/60s Drop Day 1 preview is Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. Now this comes in the original style packaging with the embossing and the little sort of envelope flap at the top. In fact, what BMG have done with this is they've replicated the packaging of this record as it was in the 10-Year War box set. So everything's kind of the same. If you open this flap at the top, and you get the poster. This poster isn't the best poster, I have to say, but you do get the poster. There you go, extremely grainy reproduction of the poster. And then the record comes in this Vertigo sleeve, and it's purple vinyl. Now, it was purple vinyl in the 10-Year War box set as well, but it was a bit more splatter vinyl. They had a sort of splatter thing going on, which you don't get on this version. So there is a difference. So if you've got the 10-Year War box set, don't worry, because your vinyl is still unique. So that's Black Sabbath. So that concludes the 70s, 60s Record Store Day previews. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope it's been of some use. If you have, then why not subscribe to the Super Deluxe Edition YouTube channel for more great physical music unboxed. Tomorrow we're going to look at the 80s, which will include Ultravox, Tears for Fears, Howard Jones, Toyo, quite a few others. So tune back into SDE tomorrow for another great Record Store Day preview. Thanks for now, and I'll see you next time.